president. I'm basically the one who has been running this whole reality fair, setting it up and everything with the help of Joshua Wixer, our advisor, the board members, and then the Framingham Rotary Club. This process has been a lot of work, a lot of time put into it, but it's turned out really well, which is really impressive, and I'm really happy because this is giving the students, the seniors, a good opportunity to learn about expenses and budgeting in the real world. And this is kind of like a trial run so that when they make mistakes here, when they overspend, they don't make those real mistakes in the real world as they're going off to college and the world after that.
So what we're doing is we're explaining the kids the different options of living, either choosing Boston or Framingham area, and we're explaining the difference between the apartments and how they can either live by themselves or sharing apartments with roommates, and if they are having cars, how they need to pay for parking if they live in Boston. And this fair has been amazing. They have been giving a lot of good feedbacks, and I'm enjoying every second that I'm here with the kids.
So this is the food budgeting station, and here we've been talking to the students about how they would need to budget on a monthly basis, and what the different considerations they have to take when planning for food, which is obviously an essential piece of their budget. So we've been going through the different types of food choices you can make, whether that's something in what we're calling cheap calories, so your packaged or pre-made foods, kind of cheap but not necessarily the healthiest options for them. And then of course what we're calling delicious and nutritious, which is homemade foods, things that you're getting at the grocery store, but obviously while you'll be more nutritious, you're going to spend more money, and it's going to take a lot more time. And then people who would be interested in dining out, that is of course the most expensive option, but the most fun. And then we have it broken out into different examples so that the students get a better feel for what that actually means. Some of the things that I think they initially come in and they say, well, I'm not making a lot of money, so I have to do everything on the cheap side, or I want to be healthy, so I'm going to do everything on the delicious and nutritious side. So they don't think about, oh my gosh, that means 30 days, so 30 breakfasts I have to make, 30 lunches I have to make, 30 dinners I have to make. And they start thinking about, they're like, okay, you know what, sometimes I am going to just want to have cereal in the morning for breakfast, and sometimes I am going to want to go out with my friends for dinner on a weekend. So they start thinking about it, and initially they'll come in and say, I just want everything cheap, I'm going to spend $155 a month. And then as they start thinking through it, they're like, actually, no, I am going to make some more food. I am going to mix in some cheap options so I can go out to dinner every once in a while with my friends. Some of the funniest things I've seen is some people will come in and they just say, I just want to do this, I'm never going to think about anything else. And then as they start listening to their peers, they're like, oh wait, I would want to go out to eat with you because we're roommates. So those are some of the cute things that were kind of said throughout. But certainly seeing that there's not a lot of awareness of the different styles or different types of options within those types of things is definitely a learning for them.
That's your deductible. That's how much you have to pay out of pocket.
You're essentially gambling.
Yeah,
you're gambling that you're not going to need it.
Yeah.
That's why you pay less. If you know I have a chronic condition, I have to go to the doctor, every month.
Yeah.
You're going to want
You're diabetic.
a better plan.
If you have this plan, if you have this plan and you get hit by a bus, disfiguring accident, you get hit.
So we've been talking to kids about budgeting for a car. Obviously there's a lot of decisions that go into purchasing a car, where we live, where we're going to commute to, what do we need it for. Right now what we've been doing is taking the kids' monthly income as a net and trying to work off of about 10% or less is kind of the monthly goal here. So, and obviously credit comes into play as well, so lower the credit, the higher the monthly payment is what we're trying to show the kids, that your credit does in fact have a cost associated with it. The Jeep Compass has been a very popular choice because even at bad credit, we're under $300 a month. So you have 4x4, decent gas economy, and it's utility, so you can carry some stuff. Some leasing options here as well, which are cheaper in general, but do cost more in insurance. Close-end lease, 3 years versus financing for 6 years. Benefit of financing on cars, you do have some equity or ownership at the end of that period. So you do have a down payment towards your next car. And then all the way down the end, we have some much cheaper options, but they come with a higher risk of things like mechanical breakdown, higher maintenance costs. Or if you're able to live and work in the city, you can do the monthly T-Pass, which will save you some money. A lot of kids have been splitting costs of cars as well, which I think they'll find that's harder to do in real life when it actually happens. That's about it.
Just give you a heads up. Do you know where you're living first? Are you living in Framingham or Boston? So Framingham rates, there's no car rates and used car rates. So as you're buying your car, you need to buy your car first, but the new car rates are almost twice as much as the used car rates.
All right, hello, I'm Molly Pietrantonio. I'm our volunteer programs manager at Habitat for Humanity Metro West Greater Worcester, and along with 2 other lovely volunteers, I am in charge of the Furnishing Your Home booth. So we're talking to students about what's it going to look like when you're trying to find furniture for your new apartment, whether you're with roommates or on your own. So we have 3 options. We've been describing them as the thrift and gift. So what have we found from our sisters, brothers, cousins, uncle? Some IKEA options, maybe a Bob's Furniture. So their options are to either pay in full, if that's what their paycheck allows, or we can take a look at their credit score, and based off their credit score, we can look about what those payments are going to be over 12 months. So a lot of these students have been asking great questions, really thinking about what can I afford, can I pay in full, I didn't realize my credit score was this important. Just having some good conversations, but I think they're making good choices. We're making good choices. So that's what's going on over at the furnishing booth.
So working at the clothing booth here today at the reality fair, and kids have been great. It's been going very smoothly. I think the kids are learning a lot and understanding that they need to think about clothes, not just for kind of casual side of things, but also for their profession. So we've been asking them about what their profession is and then giving them options, whether it's a uniform, casual, business casual, professional, and letting them understand that they need to think about that from a professional side, and also giving them the option of whether or not they want to buy new or used, helping them think about whether or not how they want to look in their job and what they're going to be doing with it. So most of the kids try to get away with used, but when we start asking them questions about whether or not they buy used today, they tend to focus back on new clothes. The kids have been very surprised, I think, about or thinking about the fact that they have to buy things from a professional side. But for the most part, they understand that they need to do that, and it's been going very smoothly. I think that they've been having a lot of fun with it.
I'm Scott with the Metro West YMCA, and with others here supporting our local charities. So folks that are here are also focusing on their budget, but also how are they giving back to their own community that they're a part of. So we have a number of different organizations and different ways they can give back, to charity runs, to nonprofits in the community, presidential campaigns, and supporting a local family in need. But it's all about people finding within their own budget how they can give. Whether it's the basic coffee rule of just trying to give an expense of $5 coffee a month, meaning the $5 donation, or people that have given already a few $100. But we're always trying to find a way for people to understand what it is like to give back to others in their community. There's also the opportunity to just give your time, because time can be just as important as treasure, and it's for them factoring in how they might take a day off to make that work for them.
So my name is Katie Nolan. I work at the AAA office in Franklin, Massachusetts, and I am a part of the luxury booth, so the items that sometimes kids can and cannot afford after they go to the budget counseling. At our luxury booth, we have everything from vacations to event tickets, their health and beauty items such as their haircuts or getting their nails done or getting massage, as well as going to the gym and getting gym memberships, but then also their necessities. So they have to have a cell phone, they have to have cable and internet in this day and age, and then whether or not they choose to have a pet. So my biggest takeaway has been a lot of kids getting gym memberships. A lot of kids, push these items off to the back burner when they, can't afford it, but they definitely want their gym membership, and they definitely have to come and get their, their cell phone bill and their cable and internet and things like that. So it's been great. I think the kids are getting a lot out of it today. So I think it's been a great addition to the school program.
All right, hello, I'm Dick Bennett. I'm a budget counselor here for the Ashland High School student seniors. And one thing that has surprised me is a lot of the seniors have a lot of money left over. I mean, they weren't making a lot of money, but they were very frugal in what they were doing. I mean, a couple of them had, $2,000-3,000 a month left over, and that really surprised me. And it wasn't just that they were living here. Some of them were still living in Boston, decided to share, cut their costs down that way. So they seemed very, very frugal in what they wanted to do. I only had one girl that was over, and then she had her roommate who had some money left over, so she took a higher amount of rent, and then she had to cut an iPhone down to a Samsung, and she made it under the budget. So I mean, that would surprise me that most of the students have been very, very careful in what they choose, and and some of them were not making a lot of money either. I mean, I've had a few, like 2 doctors, making $100,000 a year, but then I had a social worker making $40,000 a year, and even her was under the budget. So it's one area that I thought they were very careful in what they chose, and a lot of them weren't doing luxury items; they were doing the basics. So I have found that this seems to be very helpful for the kids. Now, granted, real life isn't like that, but I think they've been very, very wise in what they chose.
Let's see, spin the wheel. Let's see if you're gonna get some money to help you in your budget. Let's see. Oh, you bad boy. Bad boy. You got sued. Write it down. Bad boy. Carolyn won a game against the Sox on Sunday afternoon.
Blue Jays.
And she helped put this whole reality fair together, but she had a lucky spin.
Good karma.
Carolyn got great karma. She got the tickets.
I will take the Sunday night baseball with that.
You won Sunday night with the Yankees. You got it.
Thank you very much.
Yay! Smile for the TV camera. Smile. We won Red Sox tickets. Yay! Congratulations.
Hi, my name is Ken Ardell. I'm with the Framingham Rotary. I'm a resident of Ashland. My kids are in high school. We were part of the group that helped form to get this fair coming together for Ashland. It's the very first one, and it's really exciting to see that it came together. The teacher involved, Mr. Wixer, and the student council led by Carolyn Flipper did a marvelous job of really getting everybody behind this and together. We were able to bring in some help from the Rotary, from the local community, and from other places to staff the booth, and it really came together beautifully today. For a first-time event, there's a tremendous amount of things that went well. There's a few glitches. We're learning as we go. That'll just make the next one better. But this has been a fabulous turnout. We'd love to have seen more kids show up today, but that's part of learning about this process and getting it going. So as you look around and you listen to what people are saying, they're very excited. I mean, they really have embraced it. And some of the students come in and they've got their numbers down and they're doing a really great job, and then others are going through a surprise, and that's always what we find. There's a lot of surprise when someone says, did you fit in your budget or not? And so they learn from it, they're leaving with a smile on their face, have a good time, and they've learned something, which is what this is all about.